So the first thing you need to do to get ready for this segment on using manipulatives for both integers and for algebra is to just get familiar with the different possible pieces and then either consider making your own or finding something at your house that you could use, or perhaps you'll like the manipulatives that are on the website. Personally, I like them better if they're in my hands and I can play with them and manipulate them. First of all, that's faster for me. But it's up to you. I'm hoping that you will either take the time to make your own manipulatives or, like I said, there are online manipulatives you can use. So anyway, the first set of manipulatives are either the red and blue chips or the red and yellow chips for modeling operations with integers. So red is the universal color for debt. All right, so if I say a business is in the red, then that means the business is losing money. Okay, so it doesn't matter our choice of colors as long as we have an understanding that red signifies -1, blue signifies +1, and I don't think you guys needed the video on using the chips to add. I think that you'd be comfortable with that. It is sort of nice to have these yellow and red chips that I could flip over, okay? And I'll show you why I like that. All right, if I were doing the problem -1, take away 2. The 2 is positive. All right, most people would say add in, most models say add in 2 0 pairs, right? Then take away 2 blues, and I'm left with 3 reds, -3. Another possibility when I have these chips that have the 2 different sides, okay, I would start off with -1, and then I have 2, right? I want to subtract 2. One of the things that we could do then for subtracting +2 is we could say, well, subtracting is add the opposite. I could change that to add, but then I make it the opposite. I flip. So I'm wondering how people feel about using the chips, the two-sided chips in that way, because I know at least one person in the math department didn't like that. They said, well, how is flip an operation? All right, but later in the segment, we'll talk about the pros and cons of doing the integer models that way, because we could do the same thing with the algebra tiles. So anyway, these are the integer chips. Now we have algebra tiles. This is my favorite set of algebra tiles. I tried to order more for a class set and they didn't have them, but I like these because they actually have the plus and the minus right on them. Okay, but they have blue for positive, and then over here green for positive. And and these could, if I didn't have any integer chips, these could serve as my integer chips if I wanted. And so again, they've got the 2 different colors on either side, so that if I wanted to do something like subtracting is add the opposite and I wanted to flip my chips, that would be an option. All right, these are the chips from the Math Learning Center, which really look very similar, right, except they're beige instead of yellow, and they don't have the pluses and minuses on them. But again, one side is red. I am going to send you to this website, this MathBits website, and this is going to give you just a quick tutorial on pretty much everything we're going to be doing, but they do have a section here where they talk about making your own tiles. I'm sure you could go online and find a template that you could print out and cut. The other website that I'm going to send you to, this is can't see it here. This is some virtual algebra tiles, and you could set it up with the equation, or you could clear the whole thing. So I'll allow you to play around with this. You could clear the whole thing, or you can set it up in the hide all frames. Go, right? You could hide that and then move these. The only thing I don't like about it is, like, you know, once you get here and you want to say, okay, there's red, there's blue, together these are 0, right? You really don't have any way to do that besides, you know, like erasing them when they would 0 out. So I don't know, I didn't love this. I found it cumbersome to use, but if you don't feel like making your own manipulatives, but you still want to play along, so I'm going to have a handout for you that you're going to, you know, we're going to go through a bunch of examples together. And I think it's much better for you to be actually manipulating the problems yourselves rather than just watching me do them on the video. So I'm hoping you will either embrace these virtual algebra tiles, or you will find some way to make yourself a set of these.